Hi, freaky friends. This is Colleen.
This is Margaret.
And we're the Cousins Weird. Oh my God. Did it just go perfectly?
It wasn't perfect on my end.
Oh, my end, it
but
sounded
maybe
real good.
it is maybe it was. I just got to go for it.
Yeah, we just got to go for it. And if it doesn't end up the same, that's fine. We're good. We're apart again. Sadly, we're not together. But it's okay. We can still do our recording, even if we're not in the same room.
And it's not due to health this time. It's due to busy lives.
Yeah.
Not having time. We record on Sundays, and normally Sunday's my day off, but I had committed to doing a health fair in a neighboring town, and I was there from 10 to 4, which was a long day, but, I booked 3 new clients, so it was good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
Perfect. Well,
so I ccame home, and I had to immediately fix my children food, because they're always starving, like they haven't eaten in a week. And I wolfed down some food myself. And yeah, I'm good. I have a headache, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, Friday, I was walking off the bottom step of my porch, and my foot, I stepped on uneven ground, and my foot, folded in half. And I don't know how else to describe it, but, taking a paper long ways and, folding it in half. And
ew!
The top is all swollen, and I'm pretty sure I just, basically pulled all the ligaments on the top of my foot. So I'm, a little gimpy right now. I've been limping around.
The front part of your foot folded underneath itself.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Oh, God.
It didn't hurt my ankle. I didn't sprain my ankle. I sprained the top of my foot. I don't even know how to describe it. It hurt. It's better today than it was, but I've been walking around with a limp and not doing much of anything, and so it's good that I didn't have to leave the house, I guess, because I can't walk without hurting myself. Literally walking, I hurt myself. Not surprising.
I tend to be on the clumsy side, but it might have a lot to do with the fact that I'm 5'4" and I wear a size 10 shoe. So I got big old feet, and I constantly trip on them. Doesn't even have to be anything in the way. I fall downstairs a lot.
Yep, me
and
too.
And I trip over the flat ground. I do that.
Me too.
It's fun.
That's what I don't know what I did.
Colleen was saying how she was super, she's super prepared today. She even typed up her notes, and now she's making me feel like I look bad.
I did. So, I'm so proud of myself.
I'm not doing that. I am not good at typing, so yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
I typed up my notes, which was really helpful because how I can't read my own handwriting, and half the time I'm because I don't know what I wrote. So I typed it up.
I'm in that boat too.
At the point where it's weird because I have to write it out how I want it, and then I had to type it up because that's the way my brain works. It always has. I have to write things out before I type them. But once I have it written out, I can type it real quick. So it wasn't hard once I got it written out. So it was the biggest part was just getting your notes done the way you want, and then but I'm really proud of myself and I feel really fancy because I have my phone in my hand, and I'm gonna read off my phone instead of a piece of paper that's all crinkled. So we'll see how this goes.
No more paper crinkles in the background.
No, not for me. Margaret's just it.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Old school. And I'm lazy, and I don't like to say.
There's no judgment. And I can't guarantee that every week I'll have the time to type, but today I did. Well, because my foot's dead, so I had time to do so. You crush your foot, and then you have time to type. See how that works?
Yeah, and I have no idea what Colleen's topic is, so.
No, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I'm going to talk about the haunting of the Crescent Hotel. Because I love my haunting. So the Crescent Hotel is located in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. I know it's Arkansas.
Nice.
I just like to say Arkansas.
Because it's sassy.
It's sassy.
It's sassy.
Eureka Springs is pretty cool. It's up in the Ozarks, and it's this really cool artist kind of town. Now it's a very cool place to go. So I kind of want to go there now, to visit.
Isn't that where Bill Clinton is from? Arkansas?
Yeah, he is.
He's not sassy. I don't think sassy
no.
when I think Bill Clinton. He's pretty.
No.
Ass. The ass part. Yeah, that sounds right. We're non-discriminate mockers of politicians. Yes. If you're a politician, you're opening the door to be mocked because inevitably they all suck.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. Eureka Springs is a really cool place in general, just so you know. But this hotel was built in 1886. And it was like the most grand of hotels at the time. Like, it was amazing. It was built on natural limestone. So where it's built, it's like on the side of a hill. It overlooks Eureka Springs. It's really, really cool. It was lit by Edison lights. It had electric bells. It was heated with steam and had hydraulic elevators. So it was like a showcase of all the conveniences you could have back in the late 1800s. So it was a big deal. It cost a total of $294,000 then to build. So that's $8 million today it would cost.
So there's buildings that were worth more than that now, but that's not too shabby.
Not too shabby for then, right?
No, not at all.
The reason why the Eureka Improvement Company is the one that built the hotel, and they did this because it was thought that the waters around Eureka, the springs, healed the sick. It could make you whole again. So people were kind of being attracted to this area, like tourists and stuff, because they wanted to dip into the waters and get healed. So it was kind of, made perfect sense to build the resort there because people were going there anyway. Why not making money off them? And it was really... Yeah, it was a really exclusive kind of hotel, so it was really only for like the rich and famous because no one else could afford it.
Right.
So the hotel ran for 2 decades, but at the turn of the century and the dawn of more modern medicine, the tourism in the area to sit in those springs and be cured kind of went down a little bit. So in 1908, they opened the Crescent College and Conservatory for young women. Actually, kind of genius. It allowed them to run the hotel in the summer so that they had this revenue coming in on the off season so they could keep the hotel open because that was their goal, was to keep the hotel open. But then the Great Depression comes and tourism obviously diminishes and people couldn't really afford at the time to go to private school. So the hotel closes its doors in 1934. But things got real weird in 1937 when it all starts getting weird.
Oh, okay.
The hotel was purchased by Dr., in quotation marks, I'm doing quotation marks, Dr. Norman Baker. This doctor was no doctor at all, and he had
sounds a lot like Norman Bates.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And he's in a hotel. He kind of had a shady past. So, Norman Baker was a vaudeville actor. He was an inventor and a self-made millionaire, pretty much because he liked to rip people off.
That's kind.
Yeah, he started a radio show in his hometown of Muscatine, Iowa. I think that's how you say it. And he used this platform to attack the American Medical Association. And he said that he had the cure for cancer. But even though the 5 patients that he tried to cure all died, he still said he had it.
It wasn't from cancer, though.
No, it was probably from what he was doing to them.
Probably.
He eventually was forced off the air, and he ran off to Mexico for a while because he was going to get in trouble for pretending for giving medical advice when he wasn't a doctor. He had no training. But at that point...
in the 30s?
Yes.
This must be like right after, because I know of other like turn of the century where the doctor thing, like you could still practice medicine and not be a doctor.
Right. Well, I think it was a lot to do with him attacking the American Medical Association.
Oh, yeah, that'll be
on the radio. They wouldn't renew his license for that, and then he kind of ran away for a little bit. And then it didn't matter at this point because he really built a reputation and people liked him. They believed him and trusted in him. And when he came back to the States, he started to focus on the area in the Ozarks. And it was the same time that the Crescent Hotel was put up for sale. So he purchased it and opened the hotel as Baker's Hospital for Cancer. So he had no medical training, no license, but he was handsome, well-dressed, and charming, and he always sported a lilac shirt. Apparently, that's all it takes for people to love you.
Get a lilac shirt and a handsome face.
Yeah. So he started advertising for his hospital. He sent out these brochures that said it was a place to be cured. You don't need surgery or radiation. We can cure your cancer. And so he was really preying on people that were sick and desperate, because they were dying and they wanted to be healed. So they get this brochure in the mail that says, come to the Ozarks and we'll cure you. And people were like, okay. And, these are wealthy people probably getting it. So when people applied to go to they called to go to the hospital, he tried to weed out people that had really close family members. He wanted people that didn't really have a lot of close family.
Mm-hmm.
So when they arrived at the hospital, he would have them sign undated letters.
Wow,
for the
that
future.
doesn't
Yeah.
sound sketchy at all.
No,
Totally do that. Don't do that. It's bad.
No. Never sign a piece of paper you don't know what you're signing. Don't do it.
Especially if it's a blank piece of paper. They say at the bottom of this for me, would you? No.
Exactly. So the cure, in quotation marks, I'm doing again, he called Formula 5. It was made of alcohol, glycerol, carbolic acid, which is a disinfectant, ground watermelon seeds for some reason, and clover leaf.
So he wanted to inject cleaning fluids into people.
Basically.
So
Does that sound like someone we heard of before?
yeah.
Recently?
Yeah, maybe he got the idea from this guy.
Maybe he did. So he would inject the site of the cancer up to 7 times a day. And he actually stole this formula from another con man. He just took his idea and started doing it. But it absolutely did nothing for people.
The con man stole it from another con man?
Yes.
Go figure.
It really didn't have any kind of effect at all on people. People just lived out their time there without any treatment at all, so they're not going to make it, obviously. When patients got very sick, or they started maybe questioning his practices, like, wait a minute, nothing seems to be working, he would send them to what he called the psychiatric wing.
Oh.
Which, this was a wing he sealed off from prying eyes, and so you couldn't hear if people were screaming in pain or upset. It also was said that he drilled holes in people's head and injected that into their brains too to see what would happen.
Not anything good. We
No.
can guarantee you're injecting carbolic acid directly into somebody's brain. Anything.
Not gonna
Don't
happen.
do it.
It's not gonna do a thing.
That's
no.
Not good. It's not good. Not a good outcome.
No. So when they eventually died, because most people that walked in there didn't make it because they're going to die of cancer. They're there because they have cancer. So they're literally getting disinfectant into their body. And I guess if that treatment didn't kill them, the cancer was going to kill them because they were getting no other type of treatment at all. So when they eventually...
terrible.
Yeah. When they eventually died, he'd move them to the morgue where there was a walk-in freezer, and he'd plop them in there until he did something with them. Once the patient died, he would take those pre-signed letters and send relatives word that, oh, things are going so well, I'm starting to feel better, and just keep that money coming in. So even after they were dead, he was able to get money out of the family to keep the patients there, even though they were in his walk-in freezer at this point.
What a horrible, horrible human.
Horrible.
And
then eventually he couldn't keep it going because eventually you'd think if he cured them, they'd have to go home. So he would have to send a sad letter saying that they died. And then he would then collect more money to bury them. And he would pocket that also. He probably just dumped them in somewhere. I don't even know what he did with the people, but
incinerated them.
Yeah. So people had flocked to him for this cure, but they mostly died. And they said that potentially hundreds of people died under his care because he wasn't caring really for them. He just wanted their money.
His care, in quotation marks.
Yes, in quotation marks. On September 1st in 1939, he was arrested for mail fraud. So they caught him because of his brochures he was sending out. And I couldn't really figure out why they couldn't get him for, practicing medicine, impersonating a doctor.
Without a license?
Yeah,
Jeez.
none of that. But he did get arrested for mail fraud. So he got arrested for something. The hospital got closed down, which was a blessing because it should not have been running. He was only in prison from 1941 to 45. And then this jerk who took everything from these people spent the remainder of his days comfortably in Florida until he died in 1958. But karma got him in the end because he had stomach cancer, and that couldn't have been a good way to go.
No. That's Snappy. Napoleon, he had a similar issue.
He did too. Not a good way to go. So the Crescent Hotel would remain empty until the late 40s, and then it reopened a little bit in the 40s again, like the end of the 40s, but they couldn't afford to keep it up because it